Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified, the world's largest independent online law school platform. I'm your instructor, Shaveen Bandardanayake. On a number of occasions on this very YouTube channel, as well as the different platforms the Law Simplified is disseminated on, I've tried to impress upon you, as well as my one-on-one fast track and masterclass students, the importance of articulating an introduction to a problem scenario, or even an essay question for that matter, in a particular way, so to speak, so that it impresses your examiner in terms of your understanding of the law, as well as the issues being presented to you, as well as giving you yourself a roadmap, so to speak, on what exactly you're supposed to cover throughout the remainder of the response. Now, whilst my one-on-one fast track and masterclass students have benefited from going through tutorials and workshops, which you can access as well through the comprehensive online law school platform, now complete with these tutorials and workshops that I've conducted with first-class law students globally, it's important to also highlight the need for the fundamental issues that you will tackle to be articulated in a manner that is thorough. If you like the type of content that I make on this YouTube channel, do subscribe to the Law Simplified and leave a comment below if you like this type of content in terms of how to articulate responses, not simply at a pass level, but an ace level altogether. So, in this video, I thought I will showcase a very simple example of what I mean by framing your fundamental issues in an introduction to a question, especially when it comes to a fact pattern or a problem-based scenario, and the value of not being too vague, not being too specific, but having a very particular Goldilocks zone, so to speak, in mind. So, let's first have a look at an example. When it comes to a question relating to property law, specifically that of easements, being too vague is essentially where you might say something like, this question relates to easements. This is quite wide. It may indicate to the examiner that you know which topic this particular question is on, but nothing more than that. Conversely, you may be too specific if you were to say something like, this question relates to the precedent case of Wealden and Burroughs and the principle of a quasi-easement converting to a proper easement on conveyance. While this is correct, and we would definitely be talking about this later on in the response, it's too much at the very inception. It's very specific. You're looking at one specific area of law, and this might be one of 10 or 15 areas that you're going to have to tackle. The Goldilocks method, or the Goldilocks zone, is to try and articulate your fundamental issue in the introduction as an amalgamation of both of these, where you show the examiner that you know that it's on easements on the one hand, and you indicate that the application of Wealden is necessary to answer it. So, to be in the happy middle, so to speak, or to be it just right, you should ideally say that the fundamental issue is whether the easement is enforceable through an implied grant via Wealden and Burroughs. Once you slowly start practicing these techniques, understanding where to draw the line as it relates to indicating what the law is, and to make sure you rein in, so to speak, the specificity when it comes to the introduction, you're able to harness a power that most students rarely find. And what I mean by that is, from a student's perspective, it's difficult to quantify this, but from an examiner's perspective, it's the holy grail, so to speak, in terms of understanding what a student is capable of. Right. So, the Goldilocks zone that I mentioned, as illustrated in that example that we went through, is meant to give you an understanding, at least from that particular subject area, on what I've always been trying to impress upon you, as to look deeper at a scenario, look deeper at the issues themselves, and show the examiner that you are able to go to the core or the fundamental issue. Most students tend to be very vague about what they write in answer scripts, and sometimes too specific. They go too deep into something without really looking at the big picture scenario. So the next time that you actually answer a question, always keep in mind the Goldilocks zone. Not too cold, not too hot, just right. And in the context of an examination, not too vague, not too specific, just right. But until the next time that we speak, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.